So back to drivers who have cards that you mentioned a minute ago, and then this will segue us into a couple more topics that I know you wanted to get to today. Pierre Gasly has some cards. He has all the cards that you would think he would have related to the most popular sets. Um, Topps Chrome 2020, Topps Chrome 2021, and the Sapphire edition of the Topps Chrome for each of those 2 years. But then he also has Topps F1 Dynasty for 2020 and 2021. And so I just, let's look at Dynasty for a second, because to me, so Max Verstappen's 2020 Topps Dynasty F1 patch auto out of 10 sold twice in January, both for over $15,000. There may be a more recent sale than that, but this is a big money card. I think they're actually, most of these there's only 10 of them. I think most of these are actually listed for people want 80,000 for this. Some people want 20, 25, depending on what the patch is, all these different things. But we'll break down Dynasty, what it is here in a minute. But let's talk about looking at Gasly, for example. Looking at the fact that there are these high-end cards for a guy who may be able to step up. He's a great driver. He's won at least one race. He may have won multiple races in his career. I know he was called up to Red Bull. That didn't work out, but now he's racing very well. For what is it? Is he AlphaTauri right now? Yeah,
Yep.
AlphaTauri right now. And so, anyway, what I'm getting at is there a play somewhere in the stratosphere of a high-end Gasly card that doesn't cost as much as a high-end Lewis or Max card, that actually, if Gasly does make a jump to I don't know, Mercedes or Ferrari or Red Bull or a better car at some point, like you said he wants to, buying a high-end Gasly card for say $3,500, because I don't think people, if you're watching right now on YouTube, or if you're listening right now on Spotify or Apple, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, they can see a couple cards I've pulled up on my screen that people want 8,000, 6,500 for. My guess is that these would actually sell for more like 3,500 or something like that. But could a Gasly card go from 3,500 to 15,000 or 10,000 if Gasly is able to actually move up to maybe like a Russell or a Leclerc status, or even a Lando Norris status someday? Is there a play with Gasly?
There's a play, but for that, there's gonna, I don't know. I'm just, hold on. There's a play, though. Two things are gonna have to happen. First, he's gonna have to land a seat, either go back to Red Bull, or I don't know, go to Mercedes or McLaren. That's gonna have to happen, and B, he's gonna have to win a world championship, which I doubt is gonna happen soon enough. I don't think there's a lot of great drivers in Formula One. There's a lot of great drivers that have been in Formula One and haven't win a world championship. We see it now with Charles Leclerc. Yes, he has 19 points over Max Verstappen, but everyone feels that Verstappen has the momentum and he has the will to win and to drive for a championship. So for him, for his value to go up to the Verstappen level and Lewis's level, or even Lando's level. So to get on Lando's level, you're gonna have to land a top seat and then win a world championship. He won one race. This guy has the potential to win many other races, but for that, he's gonna have to move out of AlphaTauri, and it's gonna happen for me, in my opinion, next year or the other. So is there a play? Absolutely. Imagine the speculation when he lands a big seat. But once again, in the hobby, we never actually witnessed that kind of thing because everything was released in 2020, 2021. We knew that George Russell was going to be, we don't even have cards right now in the Chrome set that have George Russell in Mercedes. It's all tops now. So we'll see what the future holds. If you have the money, that's a play I would make. That's a play I would recommend, to actually buy a high-end card of Gasly or any of their drivers in the Dynasty set, and then flip it once he lands this big seat.
Nice. I like that. And I also see, like, I know you're saying win a world championship, but it seems to me that even if he can win a race, it would spike his value. And for a guy like Russell, just not even on a dynasty card, but just if you want to invest in Russell, it seems to me like when Russell wins a race, I'd be shocked if his value doesn't, if there's not at least a spike, like a blip, like a nice little blip that tosses his value up in, for like a week, where you can sell it 20 to 40% higher than you would have been able to sell it prior to his win. But interesting what you say about Gasly. I really like that. So, all right, Greg, anything you want to add around these topics before we talk about the newest releases of 2021, which, to your point, are actually, from 2020, like, teams, but 2021 releases, we've already had Tops and Tops Chrome, but now we've got Sapphire, Chrome Sapphire Edition, and we've got 2021 Dynasty. But before we dive into that, anything else you want to add on the previous topics?
I'm all good. Let's move. I can't
right,
wait
cool.
to talk about these new releases.
Nice. Let's do it. So for me, I'd like to start with Dynasty, just because I'm pretty fascinated by Topps Dynasty. I just feel like overall 2020 and this new release of 2021 are, I'll use the term undervalued yet again, just because if you compare some of the sales prices of Topps Chrome 2020 and Topps Chrome 2021 to any of either of the two Dynasty releases, to me, Dynasty feels like a set that is way higher end. It feels like a version of a Panini Flawless or National Treasures, where you've got on-card autos, you've got low serial numbers, so you've got out of 4s, out of 5s, out of 10s, and you've got some pretty sick patches. Like, you've got zipper patches, you've got glove patches, you've got I think jacket, whatever they call the jacket patches that look pretty sweet. And I believe that, I could be getting this part really wrong, but I believe that some of these are race worn, if not all of them are race worn. So it's super high end. And I think the downside to Dynasty, I think there's a lot of upside with Dynasty. I think it's being overlooked as like a real investment. And I think that the downside with Dynasty is that when you buy it, you only get one card in a box, and you could get crushed because you could get like a Claire Williams from 2020, or you could get like another, like here's Andreas Seidel from McLaren, or Franz Tost, or Mattia Binotto, right? So you could get totally crushed. You could pay like $3,500, and the card you could get could be like an $80 card. Or you could get a Verstappen or a Hamilton that could go for 15 to 30,000. So that's my take on Dynasty, is that like there are plays to be made there if you go after like a Russell or a Lando or a Gasly or somebody, even an Esteban Ocon, like somebody sneaky that you can get for a little bit cheaper, that's going to probably on a trajectory to win some races in the next few years. But yeah, that's my overall take. But in terms of the 2021 release, I know you really wanted to dig into that, so I'll let you have the floor here and let us know what you're thinking with Topps Dynasty.
I'm happy that you think that there's a good play to be made with actually Dynasty 2021. I don't agree with you. I think that Topps mismanaged, and the whole industry and I read a lot about this in different forums with different pages, and talked with a lot of people. I think we're in some kind of overhyped situation around Dynasty. People that have the budget that were able to buy some boxes. And first of all, why would you release the price that the release price is actually the same price right now that you could buy a 2020 Dynasty box. So at this price, I would rather, even though it's brand new, I would rather buy a 2020 box, and gamble it, because it's pure gamble, high risk, high reward. But when you look at the set list, look at that: Antonio Giovinazzi, Andrea Seidel, Christian Horner, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, David Brivio, Ricardo, Ocon, Alonso. All of these, put up the set list.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I think 85 to 90% of these cards, you won't even make your money back, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to deal with, for sure.
I mean, if you hit a Lewis Hamilton, which, by the way, the 1-of-1 actually has been hit, it's been pulled. So if you hit a Lewis Hamilton, you're good. A Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Lando and George, these are probably the only 5 you can actually make profit on. Some of them you can probably make your money back mid-long term. But aside of that, why would you include, all my respect to every engineer in the field, but why would you include them in such a high-end set? So for me, I was actually excited.
That's horrible.
I was keeping some budget aside just for that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy one box and actually open it and see what it's like. But never, ever will I do that.
Totally. No, I think this is actually a really good point to break down, because I could not agree with you more in terms of like buying a box. I think that buying a hobby box right now, especially of the 2021, when you can get the 2020 on the secondary market for the same price, is one reason why it doesn't make sense. Another reason why it doesn't make sense is because of what we both just said, which is like, there's no way that engineers should be included in a high-end product like this, unless there's like 3 cards. Panini has a set called Encased, and they do it for football and basketball, and they might do it for baseball too, unlicensed. But Panini Encased, you get like 3 or 5 cards. I can't remember. But you get one that's graded by Beckett, and it's always a gem mint, and that's going to be your big one. Sometimes you get a really bad player, but it's an on-card auto, and it still helps you piece together your money back for the box. And then you also get 2 or 3 other cards, and the 2 or 3 other cards in the set are like other players, nice patches. So I can understand if Dynasty had engineers to accompany a driver in every pack in some way, in every box in some way. But yeah, the fact that you could spend almost $4,000 on one card and have it be an engineer that no one cares about at all, with all due respect to engineers, like just no one cares about them, and you can sell that card for $80. That just, now on the other side of it though, where I think you can make plays is on the singles, right? So if you go and go onto eBay and try to buy like an Esteban Ocon triple relic auto out of 10 right now.
But again,
there's
look
2 days left.
Patches. Look at these patches, man. the one that's for sale there. Would you buy that card?
So it depends on the price. I mean, let's do. Okay, I am sharing my screen. You're right.
Here, okay, we're talking as investors. But when you're an investor, you always have to think about, will the collector want to buy this card? I would totally buy the jumbo nameplate there of Esteban Ocon. That's amazing. The one just below, Pierre Gasly one also. But the triple relic autograph on 10, look at these. It
doesn't even really count as a triple relic, right? Because you're right, the patches do kind of suck. You basically got a black patch, a white patch, and another black patch. So like, what are those? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, maybe that's one reason why it's only $425 with 2 days left. And could that still be a good play if you believe Ocon is gonna win races or have podium finishes or have some kind of trajectory? And he certainly drives a good car and those kinds of things. So, but I think that's where the plays are, right? Like I think that buying a Sainz if you feel like it's in your budget or if you feel like it's affordable, buying a Gasly or buying a, I don't know, a
But
Lando,
even
right?
there,
Like if you believe
even
in that.
there, the Saints one, if you scroll down a little, this Saints card that's right there, asking price, it's $399. So just above the asking price of a box. So
Of a box, yeah, that's
uh,
true.
and this card looks amazing. It looks outstanding, and it's a card on 10. Carlos Sainz. I think that's a play. If Carlos Sainz can get his, I was going to say something not very nice, but can have a better season, I'm going to say it this way, than what he has been doing and start actually winning races, this is an interesting play for me. So you get, for the same cost of a box, you're not gambling your money. It's 4,000 best offer. So let's say you're, I don't know, you get a few
Like I
hundred
think you
bucks
could get that
under.
for like 2,500. Like I think the, I mean, I could be wrong because I don't know the seller, but based on my experience, I think you're looking at like $2,500 actual sale price for that card. And if
Let's
you
say
can
you're
get it
lucky
for
enough
that,
to
yeah,
get it for 25. Do it. Just get it, because once he
yeah,
starts winning races, and probably people are gonna like Carlos Sainz a little more. I mean, my wife, she loves Carlos Sainz from the Drive to Survive series. Uh, probably by the looks of
I'd
the
pay
driver.
$2,500. I'd pay $2,500 to get my wife to watch Drive to Survive with me, but that's a whole other story.
But anyway, I think that's a good play. The Gasly card also looks amazing, and I think all of
Yeah.
these cards are going to have a lot more value than they have right now, when these two drivers perform. So if you have the money, do it. So I mean, once again, Dynasty, the value there is to actually go on eBay or any online platform, Facebook groups or whatever, and actually get the cards that you think are good
Get the
investments,
card.
or
Yeah.
from drivers that you like. I don't think there's an upside to actually buy a box and try to open it.
Yeah, you nailed the takeaway. It's like if you can get the driver that you want for less than $3,500, then you're picking the box that you want essentially, because it is only one card per box. So that's a great like this Gasly. The more I look at it, and I think it's like one other note before we move on to Sapphire release. One other note on this is like look at how many bids and how many watchers there are also on these things, because I think that'll give you an indicator. Like, even though Greg and I don't like this triple patch relic, it does have 16 bids. So that's not, there, that means there might be like 40 some bids when it ends, which is a lot of like significant amount of bids, which means there's a market for it. So even though
Yes.
we might not like the patches, like, just pay attention to, like, this Gasly one also has 31 watchers. That's a lot of watchers. So, like if you want to make an offer on that card and try to get it for, I don't know, best practices for me, I always try to make an offer that's like a little bit above half the asking price. And then a lot of times you'll get kicked back that it's automatically not accepted, but sometimes it gets sent and then you're in a negotiation with the seller. And I think that, this card right here is one that fits the profile that Greg and I are talking about. So you've got 31 total watchers. That's a lot of interest on a card. If you can end up being the one that buys this card for, say, $1,250, that's half the price of a box, and you're essentially picking your box. It's a pretty decent idea. So I like that.
I love this card. And I'm actually surprised that my man Aaron from Slab Stocks didn't get it yet. Did you see that? He completed the whole Sapphire Rainbow, which is it's absolutely beautiful. It's magical.
That's cool. Shout out to Slab Stocks because they're like the only newsletter out of any email newsletter in the world that I actually like stop and go, all right, I got to open this right now and like click on all the links, because they just do an amazing job of tracking the auctions that are current and live and relevant and every day. And so that's where, we end up doing a lot of our digging for the sports card investment report, thanks in part to the Slab Stocks newsletter. So I did not see that Aaron completed the rainbow, but that's really cool.
He did.
And,
Go on his
actually good.
Instagram, Slab Stocks Aaron, and he completed the rainbow. And all of that to say, he completed it in a month. The whole sapphire
Nice.
rainbow with the 1 of 1, and actually, which is the funniest of all, the last card he had to buy is the base one. he actually got
He was
all of the
focused.
variations, all of the colors, and went like, oh shit, I'm missing the base. So so it's pretty funny.
That's like me when I get dinner and and there's like multiple foods on my plate for dinner. I always like eat the least favorite one first and save like the favorite one for last. And it's almost like he went the opposite direction. He went like, well, I guess that's kind of true. Like he went hardest to easiest. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, but
Yeah.
that's cool. Sometimes I wonder though, I will say, like, this is no disrespect to Aaron, because I don't know Aaron, and I'd love to connect with him and some of the other guys from Slab Stocks and see if we can hook up and help each other out. But like when somebody completes, here's just a quick sidebar before we talk about Sapphire. When somebody like completes a rainbow or like completes a set, cool, congratulations, awesome. But isn't that just like buying shit? Really? Like isn't that just like I know it's hard to get like a serial number to like some of these are really short printed and like it's hard to do it. But isn't it really just like how much money do you have to throw around at this particular thing? It's like buying an outfit. Like I just went out and bought an outfit. I mean, I think you're going to disagree with me. Like maybe that's everyone can roast me on this one, but I'm never like super impressed when people are like, oh, I got all of the jersey numbered whatever. Like when I hear Nat Turner on a podcast and he's talking about like precious metal gems and his collection and all that, I'm kind of like, it's not my thing. It's just not my thing. Because I just feel like you can just go buy it. Whereas like what's really hard to me is like anticipating like this Ghastly talk that we just had. Like what's going to happen? Like how can I buy something that's lower now than what it's going to be? To me is like way harder than just going out and being like, I want to buy these 17 cards. I'm going to go do that with no, I don't know.